Hello friends, how are you today? It's December 23rd, 2021. You know, I thought I was going to have nothing to say today because I have been feeling low this morning since I got up. But when I looked at the energies, it made perfect sense. And so I thought, maybe some of you out there are feeling this too, and so I thought I would share with you. Today I'm going to talk about the Schumann resonance energies, and I'm going to talk about an astrology story for today's energies, because they go hand in hand explaining what is going on from my perspective. Okay, so the Schumann resonance, if this is your first time here, is an energy in the air all around us. It's non-physical, and it's at 0 to 40 hertz. Coincidentally, this is the same hertz range that human brainwaves operate in. For this and for many other reasons, which I go over in my beginners playlist, I view the chart as a reflection of human consciousness. And in viewing it as a reflection of human consciousness, what I'm also saying is that I believe that we contribute to it. And so I interpret it both from a science standpoint and a intuitive spiritual standpoint. Some days I do more of one than the other. And today I'm going to look at the numbers behind the chart, and then I'm going to show you the astrology for today, so that we can go even deeper and get more of a flavor of the energies. It was interesting because when I looked at this chart here, it reminded me of some energy work that I participated in yesterday, and this was on the chart yesterday. Here's what this image looked like to me, and I'm going to interpret it intuitively before we look at the numbers. It looked like kind of like a snake going along and then raising its head and aiming towards these energies. And how I perceived that was, you see, there's been this lighted up line here at about 4 hertz. Then we turn on, the brainwaves turn on at about 13 hertz and then start lifting up. This is what I was perceiving, that we have something going on in our unconscious that rises to our subconscious where we can access it. And it comes to our conscious attention because 13 hertz is just past the alpha brainwave level where we're observing. And rather than go into integrated thinking, what it looks like to me is we decide to go deeper. Let me use this arrow here. So we basically, we are going along, we make the observation, and then we head up or down actually, and the numbers go low at the top. And we head up to here, where this is our subconscious here, our unconscious here. And all of the red, yellow, white, to me, how I interpret this is bringing light, right, to our thinking. And you can see the mind when it's captured, essentially captured in thoughts that weren't originally generated by the individual human being, that are part of a structure of thinking. It's how I see it is, it does kind of form a matrix. I wonder if that's where the idea from the Matrix came from, because when you plot the brain waves, that they might look like this. But anyway, so you see what happens here is it lights up at the vertex points where the horizontal lines cross the vertical lines, and then there's all this red and yellow. To me, that's bringing the light and having realizations. The realizations are in the colors. Look at that swirly one there, almost like DNA, right? And we're having realizations, and that's the colors in the chart reflecting various levels of frequencies at which we experience the world. And I apologize because my computer fan is going off today, and I tried so many times to get it to stop, and it's just what's happening today, I guess. Okay, so it's interesting because then here you have these white lines here again, but they also seem to be curving. Okay, so that's how I interpreted this here this morning on the 23rd. And we still have this line lit up here at 20 hertz. I've discussed it quite a bit on the last few videos. This line here, and now we still have this lighting up in the gamma hertz range. One of the other things that I think is going on here is, look at this. We had another M-class flare yesterday, but check this out. The sun's energies have sustained at C-class level for almost two straight days now. Let me show you that chart. This is from TSIS. See here, this is C-class level. So you can see that if I had to do a percentage calculation, I'd say it could have been 80%, maybe 75%, but no, maybe 80% of the time, the solar flare energy was above C-class the last 2 days. So that's pretty intense. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Now, when you combine that with the fact that we had this incredible activity, if you haven't seen my video on this, go take a look at it. I went through all the details. The energy was off the charts. Amazing for the solstice on the 21st. It doesn't surprise me that each of us takes in that energy differently. I mean, I've had an amazing couple days energetically. I'm doing things these are all things where I had the iron in the fire, and I'm moving on those things, where I've been musing on it for a long time. Even if it was an idea, I just touch it, I just touch it with some kind of an action. The last couple days, just like dreaming on those seeds that are under the ground in the winter here in the Northern Hemisphere. So it doesn't surprise me that we might be low on energy. And then take a look at this. The amplitudes are so low right now, it's like ridiculous. Look at this. This is the green, and you can see that it's below 4. Okay, that's 4 right there. So the amplitudes for the green, which I view as reflecting the human condition essentially, are about 2 or 3. So that's low energy. Red has the highest amplitudes, but they still go down to 4 or 5. And not above, 7.8. Yellow has the highest here, which is, in my view, the non-physical closest to the human, the astral. And white pings up to 10 here, but here's 4. So still pretty low if we choose to access this, right? Because in my view, the white is like a celestial influence and expanded consciousness. So when we choose to access this, that's when we're participating in this energy. Some people close themselves off to this type of energy. All right. So that's why, to me, this is a broader indicator of humanity in general. Now, if you are taking a look deeper at your subconscious, here's the astral. That's where the energy is also right now. So that kind of relates with what I was seeing on the spectrogram chart, which is cool. Now what I want to do is I want to show you the astrology chart and tell you an astrology story for today. Here's what's going on. And the AC, the ascendant, and MC are set for San Francisco. I'm going to interpret it in general so that this applies to everyone. Here's what's the key thing in the chart that I see. And you have Vesta here at 20 opposing Lilith. In my December 3rd and 4th and my November eclipse videos, I talked at length about Lilith. She's right now conjunct Rigel, the star Rigel. Now, the star Rigel can represent, it represents status, hierarchy, high positions in the military, in government, in law. And so Lilith conjunct Rigel, because Lilith can represent a queen energy. And so Lilith conjunct Rigel is very, very powerful because it's opposing Vesta, the home, and the goddess of the sacred hearth, the goddess of the light that keeps the flame lit in the temple, the priestess that keeps the flame lit in the temple. You could see this as the possibility that these forces of hierarchy oppose the human home. Okay, that's one way of seeing it. However, I believe those energies are mitigated significantly by the following. First of all, Metis, the wise counselor, is 2 degrees from Vesta, so standing right by her side. And the goddess Nike is 5 degrees from Vesta, the goddess of victory. How do we heal our homes and protect our homes in these energies? It's by reclaiming the opposing force at the personal level and then at broader levels. But it's my view that the personal happens first. So reclaiming your womanhood, reclaiming your proper place in your family, in your own life, the feminine in your own life, your proper place as, matriarch of your family. And because she's conjunct Rigel, which I'm not showing here right now, it's about strong men reclaiming their proper, reclaiming themselves, reclaiming their pure male energy, working in the highest good and benefiting the highest good at the highest levels of our society, reclaiming the strong male presence in our homes. And so when Lilith and Rigel combine in the positive in this way, when we reclaim this in ourselves, okay, when we take as women, when we take our bad bitch and we integrate her, we become a stronger woman who moderates our intensity where it's applicable and appropriate. And we use that to then protect our home. And the same thing on the male side. When Rigel, when the healing of Rigel, right? Because Rigel could go towards authoritarianism. And the healing of that is to reclaim the male energy, integrate the Rigelian aspect, or the Orion aspect. Rigel is one of the stars in Orion. And integrate that so that as a man, you're now acting with that strength for the highest good of all, for the highest good of yourself, your family, and your community. And the highest good, in my view, is not determined emotionally or analytically. It's determined through a pure connection, your own connection with God, the Most High, the Creator of the universe, your own communing with your own soul. It's about following your inner conscience, your inner intuition. So these are primary aspects in the chart, in my view, and they are in square with Neptune. So what this means to me is that when we have 2 choices, because Neptune is a dual sign and it's in Pisces, so it's incredibly strong here, right? The fishes point in both ways in the sign for Neptune. So we can choose illusion, which then is a negative application of Lilith and Rigel with negative results in the home. Or we can choose stunning insight, which is what the Schumann chart showed us, in my view. That's where we're heading. When we choose stunning insight, we elevate the strong man and the strong woman within us. We moderate those strengths and apply them appropriately to protect our home, with Nike and Metis on the sides, with the Schumann showing us that we appear to be headed for inner analysis. To me, it tells me that it's this is the favored position in the chart today. Now, not only that, you have the moon here. It's opposing Jupiter. So there's stress on our emotions, right? Because Jupiter wants to expand, but it's opposing the moon in Leo. Look at all the good energy emotionally related to Metis, Vesta, and Nike that's available to us, and Sun. But there's that stress. And I think it's the stress of making this choice here. I think that's what generates that stress. Now look what's beside Neptune. Pallas Athena, the warrior goddess, and victory. So when we call on our inner warrior, that's what gives us the inner strength and courage to face the crises we have in ourselves personally and in our homes more broadly. Now, Pallas Athena is the goddess that supported heroes, and she has victory by her side. So, my friends, even though the news might look questionable, even though it might look like there are Rigel-type policies and dictates that seem to go against the health of our homes or the highest good of our homes, Pallas Athena backs heroes. So the heroic approach here is favored once again. I thought that was pretty amazing. There's only one more thing I want to show you on this chart for today that explains the energies. I'm going to remove this so I can shift over the focus to this yod. There's a yod in the chart today, and a yod is the finger of God. So it's the divine pointing at what God wants us to see, essentially, in the energies. And it's at 2 Gemini. The Sabian symbol for 2 Gemini is about Santa Claus filling stockings. And it's kind of a joyful, playful image. The meaning, let me get my notes here. The meaning of 2 Gemini is that we're rewarded in faith. Our faith is rewarded with spiritual blessings. It's about innocence. And you see here that you've got the sun on one wing of the yod and Hygeia, health, on the other wing of the yod. So a proper orientation towards our own well-being, combined with bringing the light of transparency and the light of our own soul to whatever we are facing, protects innocence. And this theme goes perfectly with the theme of righting the energies in our home, or bringing back into alignment the energies within the home after bringing our divine feminine within and divine masculine within back into alignment with the soul that you truly are. The human resonance. It's all about the vibe.